We have here verse 3 of chapter 3 of the Gospel of John. Nicodemus has come to Jesus. He's come in the night, presumably avoiding any opportunity for people to see him, detect him, especially those who are his colleagues in the upper leadership in Israel in the first century. But nevertheless, his curiosity and his desire to know more about this strange teacher from the hinterland of Galilee is compelling him, and so he comes to Jesus by night. He says to Jesus that he recognizes that Jesus has all the indicia about him of someone who has the sanction of God. He performs these signs, and Nicodemus acknowledges that no one could do such things unless God were with him. Nicodemus also, interestingly, says, "We know that you must be a teacher from God," suggesting there were others on the Sanhedrin who shared the same conviction and yet maybe also were timid about raising the issue or further exploring it, or certainly going public with their thoughts about it. Jesus rather cuts to the chase surprisingly as he responds to what Nicodemus has said. It seems a little bit out of the blue, Jesus responds, but actually Jesus is picking up the very phrases that Nicodemus has used in his question in order to give a response. Nicodemus had said, "We know that no one is able to do these signs that you are doing unless that person has God with him." And so that's exactly the way Jesus picks up the conversation. Apokrithe, he answered, from apokrinomai, I answer. This is the deponent. Aorist, third person singular. Jesus, Jesus answered, kai apen, and said. Second aorist from lego, and said, auto, to him, dative case from the pronoun masculine, amen, amen. Of course, very powerful for Jesus to repeat this amen formula twice in advance of what he's about to say. It is as if he wants to make sure that we attach the very greatest weight possible to the importance of the words that are going to follow, and certainly in this case, that particular importance is warranted. Lego soi, I say to you. This is also a peculiarly famous formula that Jesus uses. It's not that he's quoting from the scriptures or speaking as a prophet would, thus saith the Lord, something like that. Jesus speaking on his own authority here, individually and personally, and certainly individually to Nicodemus. I say to you, the personal singular pronoun being used. And then notice this, ian me, unless. It's the very same statement that Nicodemus had made earlier, unless God is with him. And now Jesus picks up that phrase, unless, tis, indefinite pronoun, someone, a certain person, a certain one, genethe, unless that person is born. This is the subjunctive, aorist subjunctive, because ian takes the subjunctive. Unless a person is born, anothen. This particular word has provoked a fair amount of interesting question. Does it mean born again, or does it mean born from above? Because actually the word incorporates both senses within it. And I think the proper answer is to say that it actually intentionally incorporates both ideas. It is to say, unless a person is born from the beginning, from the very outset, from a kind of new beginning, they're not able to do, as Jesus continues here. Sometimes in music, a music director will get in front of his band or his orchestra or his choir and say, okay, everybody, let's take it from the top. That's really exactly what this means, from the top, from above. Unless a person is born from the top in a kind of original sort of way, a radical revision of the person that they are, unless that takes place, udunetai. And this also is taken straight out of Nicodemus' question. Nicodemus had said, we know that nobody is able, not able, dunetai, to do these things. And now Jesus picks up that, one is not able to do, to see, idain, tain basileon, to theu, the kingdom of God. Unless a person has already been born again, unless there's already been this radical revision of their deepest understanding, they're not able to see the kingdom of God, let alone enter it, let alone have any dealings with it, let alone consider it even as an object of speculation. They can't even see it in order to possibly enter it or have any other relationship to it, unless already in advance of that they have been born again. It's a powerful statement by Jesus, speaking to the blindness of the human spirit unless God intrudes, intervenes, changes radically, revolutionizes that person's inward life.